What's going on, everybody? C4 here, and welcome to episode 16 of the Toronto Huskies franchise mode. Now, this is a little bit weird of an episode, but it needs to get done before the off-season stream this Saturday night on my Twitch. Time pending. Expect between 7 and 9 p.m. Eastern. Make sure you follow my Twitter at PapaXC4 for updates. But we need to find out the fallout. What is our roster going to look like heading into this offseason, as we are now into the playoffs and the C.A.N.A.D.A Bill has passed? So if you've been living under a rock, you don't know what the C.A.N.A.D.A Bill is. Essentially, LeSean McCoy got cut because he was underperforming. He took this as a slap in the face, got a big-time super agent that got to the supporting of Donald Trump to put forth a bill called the C.A.N.A.D.A Bill. And essentially what it meant was that because we were a relocation team in Canada, players that did not agree by playing out of country, did not want to be international players, at the end of this season could decide to null and void their contract. Now, we have a bunch of players that have decided to sign on to that. We have some players that have half signed on, kinda, and they said that they would rather go on the trade block, find another team, but still have some compensation come back to the Huskies. And by those players, we have first up Rodney Anderson, who was our rookie. Took him in the second round. He was very, very good for us. Offensive Rookie of the Year, but he wanted to move on, and we got to respect his wishes to want to move on. A.J. McCarron was another one. I don't expect really any trade offers to come in for him, but I appreciate it, and his super hot wife, where he's definitely going to be missed around the offices. Next up, we need to take a look at Trent Murphy, who was really, really upset that he can't get his Mexican supplements across the border, so he wants to go away. But after having an outstanding, outstanding season, led the team. He was third in the league in sacks with 13.5. This is going to be a monumental loss to our roster. Next up was Micah Hyde, who was tied for first in the league with 6 interceptions. And he missed, I think, 4 or 5 games, some due to suspension, some due to the bill. So that definitely stings. We're going to need to remove him as one of our captains, and we're going to need to add him to the trade block. Now, we were all awaiting. We still had some players we need to hear back from. Jared Davis, Jordan Poyer, Trey White, and Greedy Williams. All 4 of those guys are returning to the Toronto Huskies. It was a huge get for us after our rest of our defense has been utterly depleted. But it is awesome that those 3 have decided to return. And on the offensive side of the ball, we were pretty much just waiting on the decision of Zay Jones, who is now unfortunately injured. Broke a collarbone in the final game, but he also has signed on and has spoke to our owner, myself, Mr. C4, speaking in third person, for our awareness and supporting his foundation on mental health. Because if you don't remember, Zay Jones kind of had a, he did some stuff in a hotel that a normal, sane person wouldn't do. But rather that, we have put some money towards his foundation to support mental health, and he has decided to return the favor and come back to the Toronto Huskies. So from that, it comes down to the players that will be leaving. And now the best thing about this, I guess, if you have to look at this from a Toronto Huskies standpoint, is that we do not eat any of these, because all the contracts are null and void. We are not on the hook for paying any of these players any of their money. So from that standpoint, it definitely helps us out when we head into this offseason, knowing that we can, if we want, to try and play some ball with the Washington Redskins and the Washington Redskins and the Miami Dolphins when it comes to bidding on big-time free agents. But it still is always pretty frustrating when you lose all your players because you have no momentum. Like, look, here goes Kelvin Benjamin, our best wide receiver. He gone. Corey Coleman was said to be a free agent, did not like our contract negotiation. He's gone. Zay Jones is staying. Chris Conley, who actually, this is a guy that can benefit from staying here. We signed him as a free agent last year because he had the height, weight, speed, the intangibles that could succeed, especially with a big arm quarterback like Josh Allen. He gone. Andre Holmes, unfortunately, he has decided to leave. Trey McBride, who we signed as an underrated free agent, he has decided to leave. Austin Prohl, just like this guy here, just loves America, so he had to leave. And David Sills, another player. We are left with 1 wide receiver. David Sills, really good player from West Virginia, was on our practice squad. But we are left just with Zay Jones at the wide receiver spot. Now, our tight ends look a little bit better. Dalton Schultz is the only tight end that is deciding to move on. Dallas Goedert and Jalen Samuels, really, really good. Dallas Goedert leading the league with 103 receptions during the regular season. He's an absolute baller. Offensive line, this is annoying. Dion Dawkins, the only good offensive lineman on our squad, and the player that I was kind of hyping up throughout the season, that he's, a vital part of our team going forward. He has decided to sign the bill. We don't even know who this guy is, so we're just not letting him in. He looks like a pedophile. Wyatt Teller, is actually the only offensive lineman on the left side that has decided to re-up with the team. At the center spot, Bodine is gone. Very strong player. He actually graded out really well. I don't think he gave up 1 sack, and he played 13, 14 starts. Larry Allen, from advice from his father, has decided to return, and that is a huge loss. 75, he was a star dev guard, and this is an offensive line that is pretty goddamn depleted. That sucks that he is moving on. Derwin Gray has actually decided to stay, and I want to show off that quick dev. You know, it's all right. We definitely will take it. Antonio Garcia and Michael Jordan both have decided to sign for the Bill. Antonio Garcia, I don't think we can get rid of yet because he's here with injury and he's stuck up here in Canada. He's taken oh yeah, Antonio Garcia, clearly some sort of immigrant in America. He's gone to America for the American dream. Now he's come up here to Canada, so he's only going to take all the free healthcare up here in Canada, and then he's going to leave. So that's very annoying. Trent Murphy on the trade block. Arunia, he's gone. Right end, Shaq Lawson set to be a free agent. He said, rather cut my losses. He's gone, and he was good, man. Shaq Lawson, a.k.a. Sack Lawson. He was the man. Rasheed Green has actually signed on. Arden Key from our practice squad is leaving, but Rasheed Green, we gave him a lot of meaningful snaps down the stretch. Wasn't very productive. What was his stats? I don't think anything was special there. Ugh. He played. I swear to God, he played in 4 or 5 games. He only got 2 tackles. But the upside is there for the USC project. What is this? Normal dev is not very good, but we'll take it. Starla Tulele, a man that we experienced with at safety, from your guys' opinion, at one point in the season, you wanted to see it. I think he kind of took that as a slap in the face and stated that he would leave. Harrison Phillips, who we have hyped up, is a fan favorite of myself. The owner has decided to stay. But Adolphus Washington and Vincent Taylor both have decided to go. And Vincent Taylor is actually a little bit low-key of a loss. When we were actually playing with them down the stretch, he made some big-time plays for us. And while I don't know why the stat sheet isn't necessarily showing that. I feel like he got a sack and a half in one of the games, maybe against the Dolphins. Matt Milano, he was one of the first people to sign the bill because we gave him a lot of dog shit. And he heard that from the press box. His agent must have got wind of that. And he was probably one of the most improved players on this team. We ripped into him for 1 week. And then the next 2 weeks, he was absolutely insane. You could see, actually, you're not on the trade block. That's illegal. I assume your agent would probably hang me over goddamn bridge if he found out they weren't just getting rid of you. But he was a guy that we criticized heavily, and those numbers, the tackles for loss and the sacks, those came in a 2-3 week period after the report got out that we kind of shit on him from the owner's box. But unfortunately, he's gone, so that is a talented player that we are losing on the defensive side with some upside. Antonio Morrison, Florida Gator bias, that only goes so far. He decided to move on and go back to America. Tremaine Edmonds is staying. Dakota Allen is staying. Mr. Last Chance U is rewarding us for giving him this opportunity. And actually, we probably could slide him an outside linebacker, but he'll stay right now as Tremaine Edmonds depths. And Edmonds, debatably, as big as, say, Josh Allen, is the biggest keep for our Toronto Huskies team. Getting Jared Davis to come back also was goddamn insane, but we're unfortunately using Ulysses Gilbert, who was a late-round pick, man, this guy got a lot of underrated production for us during the season. This guy was a rotational guy, and he finished with 10 tackles, or 34 tackles, 10 tackles for loss, and a sack. And now, you know, exactly, Milano gone. He could have been a dude we could switch over there and get a lot of production out of. So this is another one of those underrated big losses. And it's depleting our draft class. Keenan Robinson's leaving as well. And this is another guy who has had some great success for the Toronto Huskies. Not so much last year, but listen, 2018, the first year of the Huskies when we were going from the Bills to Toronto, 107 tackles, 6 TFLs, and 8 sacks. So the production was there. Now that there's a lot of space open up here on the linebacking depth chart, you would figure maybe he'd have an opportunity. Maybe he'd want to stay. Nope. Guess he's super patriotic. Whoa, big get. Oh, surprise. From Texas. Yeah. Enjoy your friggin' beef ribs. As we look in the secondary, Trey White, Mike Hilton, and Greedy Williams all are staying. Everyone else, unfortunately, will be leaving. Hilton will also be making the switch to safety because we are going to lose Micah Hyde. It's inevitable. It's only a matter of time. And I think Hilton can definitely take over that role. So Tankersley, who we got as a kind of underrated and surprise cut from the Miami Dolphins, is gone. Agnew, who's been our special teams ace, he is deciding to take his talents elsewhere. Chris Boyd from Texas, I don't even know if he's on the main roster, but he wanted to leave. Anthony Everett from Alabama, he wanted to leave, which sucks because these are some speedsters. These are guys that have absolute just gas in their tanks. and they want to leave. Teron Johnson was on the practice squad. He is gone. And, you know, we're actually going to roll here with John Franklin from Last Chance U, another guy with the Dakota Allen ties. You know, that's kind of helping them stick together, and I guess they might have made the decision, you know, together, saying, hey, we have these ties, this bond from this TV show on Netflix. Let's stay up here in Toronto. With all these guys leaving, maybe there's an opportunity for us to make some plays. And actually, Tavares Moore and his agent have informed us that he will be signing the bill. Oh, free safety. Luckily enough, Jordan Poyer's wife spoke some sense into this man. And maybe she had some persuasion for Mr. C4 and myself. Maybe we had a nice little meeting under the table. You know what I'm saying? To make sure that Jordan stayed up here in Canada. That was what's for his best interest. You know? Rachel Bush. She has kids. You know, they want the best health care possible. Living up here in Canada was best for Jordan Poyer's family. And I believe firmly the little birdie in his ear, known as Rachel Bush's wife, was the big reason why Jordan Poyer has signed on to stay with the Huskies. We're losing Micah Hyde, but he is on the trade block, so hopefully we can recoup something. He's a 93 overall player, so we should be able to get something there. Our special team is going to remain the same. Eddie Pinero and the best damn punter in the league, Justin Vogel, have signed on. They are going to be remaining here with the team, so we are depleted. Out of 53-man roster, what do we got here? 20? We're less than half of a full roster. So this offseason is going to be simply crazy. Let's sim here a little bit, see if we get any trade offers before the offseason begins, because that's about much time I can show for you today in this video. And then we'll have to wait until Saturday and see what happens then. All right, we got 2 trade offers in here, and we don't get a trade offer by the draft. These guys that said they would stay for a trade, they have to get released. That's part of the C.A.N.A.Da Bill. So anytime, you know, we can't just, you know, wait to try to think like, okay, that doesn't meet our valuation for that player. We got to move them, or else we're not going to get any value whatsoever. So first up, we're starting with 29-year-old Trent Murphy, 82 overall, coming off 13.5 sacks, which would have put him at, I think it was actually number 4, number 3 or number 4 for total sacks last season. So this is going to be a brutal loss. And look at that, we get a 4th and a 7th round pick from the Tennessee Titans is the first offer that comes in. We'll wait a little bit and see if something better can come in, but we only really got 2 more weeks to make that decision. Micah Hyde, 29 years old, 93 overall, 6 interceptions on the season, tied for first in the league. Come on, we got to get something better. We got a 2nd and a 5th, a 2nd and a 7th. Justin Ellis, Burkett, Mustafa. I mean, some of these are Bo Allen. That's the best we're gonna get right there, I think, from Houston. A 2nd and a 5th for Micah Hyde, and that's kind of brutal, knowing what kind of production he has. But it's the deal we're gonna have to take. And in one swoop, we were able to find a trade partner for both Rodney Anderson and Trent Murphy, and our 1st round pick. We have sent them to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We've moved up 9 spots in the 1st round of the upcoming draft. We also got their 6th round pick. And we're bringing wide receiver Chris Godwin. And if you've ever watched any of our live streams, you know that Chris Godwin has been, maybe outside of Zay Jones for the Toronto Huskies, Chris Godwin has been that guy that, even though it says he's an 81, and where Zay Jones said he was a 77, they play like a 90. Like, there's those hidden intangibles that they have. And if you've watched any of my streams, you know adding a player like Chris Godwin to the squad is massive. Plus, moving up 9 spots in the draft for players that we had to move on from. I mean, it is a fair trade. We definitely, even though it took a couple attempts at negotiating this, we are taking a hit. We're giving up the 3rd best edge rusher in terms of sacks and the offensive rookie of the year, and still a 1st round pick. Like, this is, I'm kind of feeling like John Gruden and the Raiders here a little bit. But understanding that we had to move on from these players, knowing that we moved up in the 1st round, and we're bringing in Chris Godwin, that's a big-time move for us, and I'm very happy with how this trade played out. And with that trade, we are now in the offseason, and that is where we need to bid adieu. But first, we should take a look at Super Bowl 53, where the Philadelphia Eagles were able to knock off the Patriots in a rematch, 42-24 of Super Bowl 51. Let's get, can we get a nice little summary of that Super Bowl here? I'm sure most of you will want to see the Eagles just destroy the Patriots. And it makes us feel a little better about that game. The Eagles were the team that ultimately held us out of the playoffs, and knowing that we lost to the team that went on to win it all makes you feel a little bit better. A low-scoring game. I don't know what the stat, I guess it glitched out here a little bit. Carson Wentz, 270 yards and a touchdown. Oh, that's probably why, because their quarterback is no longer on the roster. It must have been Brady retiring or something like that. It was definitely Tom Brady retired. That's why I didn't show up there. All right, that makes sense. But look at this. C.J. Anderson had 4 rushing touchdowns, 5 total in this game. My God. You just control the run, why don't you? Big Patrick Chung, 13 tackles. Got a sack from Brandon Graham and Hightower. Interception from Malcolm Jenkins. Them old boys on them Philadelphia Eagles still getting the job done as the Eagles are Super Bowl 53 champions. That's where we want to be, man. Our team fought tooth and nail with everything. All the off the field that we had to deal with still coming in at 9-7. I mean, I hope to God we can build this team into a winner. But I feel like with these pieces that we have here right now, nothing on the offensive line. We're set at tight end. We got the 2 most overpowered wide receivers I've used, relative to their rating in Zay Jones and Chris Godwin on the roster, which I'm definitely looking forward to. Defensively, we're still got to be pretty damn good. Greedy Williams, Trey White, Jordan Poyer, Mike Hilton, Tremaine Edmonds, and Jared Davis. Like, at least there's some redeeming quality to what happened through this, is that we're still able to maintain a lot of key players on defense. So that is it, fellas. That is it for right now for the little, Canada fallout here. I hope you guys can tune in on Saturday. It'll be Saturday evening right now, but I'm going to be trying to shoot for, we'll say, 8 p.m. Eastern. It is going to be the full off-season, and this is where you guys get more influence than ever before, because I'm going to need you guys to help me build this team through free agency, and I'm going to need you guys to help me out with the draft. And if you can't make it, you can't make the stream, no big worries. By Monday, hopefully on Sunday, I will have a condensed video uploaded onto the YouTubes for you guys to check that out. So I hope you guys can tune in for that. Thank you for watching today's video. If the first time stopping by, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button, smash the like button if you enjoyed. And until next time, it's C4 saying I'll see you guys on the weekend, and peace out.
Money I'm spending, I'm out and I'm shopping. You talking that shit when you talking and talking. Look at my options, look at me dropping. Ass in the game like, who are you stopping? Not me, not me, not never. Not me, not me.